The following is a Candlepin Stars and Strikes rebroadcast featuring some of our most memorable programs.
WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. He got it. Ready for a spare.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is sponsored in part by Washington Toyota Dodge Nissan. Looks good.
Looks good. That's good to go. It's a goal.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to Stars and Strikes here at Park Place Lanes in Windham, New Hampshire. So happy that you've joined us. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy. And welcome to the beginning of our annual mixed doubles tournament. Dan, this is the 10th year that we've had our mixed doubles event. It runs for 4 weeks. We put 5 teams together. It always makes for some fun bowling.
It's always fun. It's always also a Scotch doubles format where if you throw a mark in your second frame, your partner will fill that spare or strike. And we'll explain how we arrived at the teams later on in the show.
Yeah, the true test of teamwork, that Scotch doubles format. So let's talk about our 2 teams that will be the competitors on today's show. First of all, our number 5 seeded team from Kingston, New Hampshire, Peggy Tosi, and her partner from Manchester, New Hampshire, John Plante.
Okay, Peggy comes in averaging 119, John 123.
And keep in mind that the bowlers rolled individual roll-offs to qualify for this mixed doubles event. The men and women's roll-offs were held separately. Then we put the teams together. And our number 4 seeded team that will challenge John and Peggy today, both from Nashua, New Hampshire, Carol Downey and Joe Ashline.
Okay, Carol averaging 116, Joe averaging 131.
And even though we're doing mixed doubles, we always have our bonus ball contest here on Stars and Strikes, so don't worry, we'll have that at the end of the hour. It'll be worth $90 this week, but we have 3 games of Candlepin bowling to get to, and we will get the bowlers up on the lanes and start today's match right after these words. Don't go away. Welcome back, and now here's the information you need to know, how the bowlers qualified for this mixed doubles series. Again, the men and the women bowl separately, and then we team them together. The top-seeded man with the top-seeded woman, and so on down the list. Now, the top-seeded man's position here was broken in a tiebreaker. Dennis Shute and Jack Ray each at 751. Dennis Shute had the high single, 184 to Jack Ray's 164. There was actually a tie for 5th place as well. John Plante checking in with that 690. He tied Rick Kojecki, who also had a 690, but John had the high game. In fact, he threw it in the last game of the roll-off, a 171. So that not only got him on, but also helped break the tie. Now, on the ladies' roll-off, Tony Marie Baldinelli, the number 1 seed, and you can see the rest of the names down the list. And at the bottom here, number 4 and 5, Carol Downey and Peggy Tosi were tied at 632, and that was broken by the high single of Peggy Tosi, which happened to be 142, by Carol Downey, which was 161 to Peggy Tosi's 142, and that's why Carol is the number 4 seed. But for the purposes of this show, they're bowling against each other, and Peggy Tosi will start the match now. In fact, Peggy and Carol not only tied in the roll-off, but they're doubles partners as well, so they're put in the position of bowling against each other here today. The teams, again, just to refresh your memory, if you don't recall from last year's mixed doubles event, or if you've never seen mixed doubles here on Stars and Strikes before, the teams decide which team member will start the match, and then they stay in that order, alternating every 2 boxes for the first 2 games. And then for the start of the 3rd game, they can elect to change the order if they'd like, determined by who might be the hot bowler on that particular day.
That's right, because one of the 2 bowlers will get 2 extra frames that last game.
Peggy on the head pin. It doesn't quite break up the split.
Yeah, it gets a break when the 10 pin went down, but she wanted the 6 to be out of there as well. 2, 4, and 6, no wood for Peg. Left-hander spins that ball. The ball breaks a little bit from left to right.
We have 10 different participants in this mixed doubles tournament than we had last year. Last year's mixed doubles event was won by Deb DeRocher and Paul St. Pierre, who came in as the number 2 seed and won a couple of matches to win the event. Carol Downey now with a spare leave.
Just looking at the 2 and the 5. Piece of wood in between the 2 and the 5. Also one right directly behind the 2 pin.
And for the spare.
She will, of course, fill this spare, but if she was to put a mark up in this frame, Joe Ashline, her partner, would fill this spare or strike. Well, it's going to be another spare. It's going to be a good one. Spread eagle, but she also has a piece of wood. Smart play might be to go after the 6 and 10 and have the wood twist behind the 3 pin.
We showed you those roll-off scores for both the men and the women. The roll-offs for this series were held right here at Park Place Lanes, men and women. So now it's the men's turn, and first up, John Plante. 690 in the roll-off, and that was only good enough for 5th place. Oh, and there's a strike. First mark for the team. Not only was 690 only good enough for 5th, it was only good enough for a tie for 5th.
Park Place has been known for high scoring and certainly showed it in the roll-off.
3 700s in the men's series, including 2 751s up at the top.
John Plante kind of shakes off the cobwebs with throwing his strike the first ball. He's going to have to work a little bit here, though, with a 3 6 10 on the right, 7 pin on the left-hand corner for the spare.
Just a little thin on that.
Got the difficult one on the 7 pin.
I don't know if he tried to play the inside of that shot, but he just clipped the inside of the 3 pin and wasn't quite enough to take it over. We're going to have that piece of wood checked, although I don't think it's going to affect the shot. That piece of wood to the left as John gets ready to shoot the 6-10. A reminder that next Saturday at 12 noon here on the Winds of New England, we will have Candlepin skins from the Londonderry Bowling Center. And, of course, next Sunday, right back here on Stars and Strikes for Week 2 of the Mixed Doubles Tournament. It'll be the winners of this match against our number 3 seeded team of Steve Plante and Joanne Vandiver.
Well, first look at this week anyways, Joe Ashline.
Yeah, I think we know what Joe looks like by now.
That's right. You know what color bowling balls he has. We know all his children and his wife. I mean, that ball flew over, almost got the 7 pin. He was looking at a 6 7 10.
And the $10 for Joe. Oh, right in the pocket again, and he tickled the 4 pin, but he'll have to shoot at the single. For the spare. And a chance for the team of Ashline and Downey to take the lead when Carol steps up to fill that spare a little later on. Peggy Tosi on the head pin, but just broke in a little full.
3 6 10 on the right with the 4 pin. Got to hurry with that one. Left that ball out to the left. Saw the ball spinning, trying to break back to the right.
And a 7 for Peggy. Candlepin Stars and Strikes here at Park Place Lanes, brought to you in part by Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan. Come to Salem and save. Right on Route 97, Main Street in Salem, New Hampshire. Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan. Peggy for the spare. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Beautifully played with the wood in back, snapping forward to get the 5-pin. By the way, we are having a technical problem right now, so we're unable to show you any replays. We are working to correct the problem as soon as possible.
Carol Downey working on a spare, put up by Joe Ashline. Off the head pin, but drop of 5, 4 horsemen plus the 8-pin.
And enough to give her team the lead. And Carol works out of it for a 9. Don't know what will happen today. Obviously, the previous records and accomplishments sometimes don't mean a heck of a lot when you get on television, but certainly on paper, this Ashline Downey team with a lot of championship credentials.
Oh boy. Missed it to the left. Wood came back, knocked 2 more pins down, and almost got the spare.
.68 through 6 for the team. John Plante working on the spare, left by Peggy Tosi, and he pulled it for a half Worcester.
I think he knew as soon as he let that ball, he kind of threw his hands up like he knew he'd pull the ball to the left. Got just the 2 and the 8.
And there's the full Worcester.
There's the 3 and the 9. Help. Probably shoot for the head pin, see if you can grab 3 or 4.
Wow.
2 more.
Boy, that's a tough way to get 6 pins. John back to work on lane 31 and full again, this time on the head pin. But possibilities here, maybe. He can make the wood do something. Oh my.
How did that 4-pin stay up?
And takes it for the 10. So 80 through 8 for the team of Plante and Tosi. Joe Ashline to step up now. His team leading by 4 and a couple of open frames to work on. And Joe will leave the 4-pin rocking again.
And missed the head pin. Wood came back, took out the 3 and the 1 and the 2. Left just the 4, and this has no chance of staying up. No chance. He had a foot to play with to the right. And
3 marks for the team.
.78 and a ball in the 7th. Leading by 8 plus this ball.
Wow, and it looked better than that. Just 6 with the diamond. Might have hurt him. Oh, Joe. Talking to himself. Joe's one of those guys that doesn't miss the object pin very often. certainly not when he has a chance for a mark.
He's been bowling very, very well lately, too. Of course, he's a qualifier in the Tournament Champions already. So we'll see him in the spring.
Which isn't far away,
That's
thankfully.
right. Thank goodness. Frustrated with all the snow, and now we'll go out on the golf course and be frustrated out there.
Well, after this mixed doubles series ends, we will go back to our regular men's qualifying format, as we have just one spot open for the Tournament of Champions, and then, of course, it'll be time for the tournament. So it's not that far away. And, of course, we have the state tournament coming up, men's and women's finals, also coming up in the spring on our Saturday show. So lots of excitement in the weeks ahead.
No break off the head pin for Peg on that one. Leaves yourself the 2-4-7 on the left and the 6-10 on the right.
Ooh, trying to play it on the inside of the 2-pin and just missed it. Take 7, 96 for the team in the opening game. So they'll be trailing. It's just a question of what the lead will be, as Carol Downey now has a couple of open frames to work on. Oh, Carol a little off target, but didn't turn out too badly. The 1-3, 8 and 10. For the spare? No. Well, let's see.
Hang on.
Let's see. Wow. Oh, it went over. I think we all looked away.
I was going to say, you spoke too soon.
Yeah, after that piece of wood went over to get the 8-pin, all of a sudden I realized, wait a minute, things could happen here.
After some 12 years, you should realize it. As long as there's a pin moving here at Park Place, we got a chance. And boy, she cashes in. Big 9-pin drop on that spare, leaves the 5.
Oh, well, there's the grand payback, I suppose.
It's a double piece of wood, the one in the back. Kicked the ball away from the 5, as well as took the 2 pieces of wood out to the right. But they're going to have a sizable lead after one.
123 for Ashline and Downey. They have the lead by 27 pins over Plante and Tosi after one. We'll be back on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. And another 9 drop for Joe Ashline. That's the 4th 9 drop for the team of Ashline and Downey already.
Don't like the piece of wood out in front of the 7, though. The 10, I should say.
You can see from that shot a moment ago how far out in front it was. Oh, he drove right through it.
It rolled back far enough where Joe, as hard as he throws, he just drives the ball straight through the wood into the 10-pin.
That's 5 spares for the team of Ashline and Downey. They do not have a strike yet, but they've had a lot of close calls.
Another close call, really. 8-pin drop, leaves himself the 2 and the 4. And another testy piece of wood in front of the 2. I don't think he can get by this one. I have to play right on the cap.
Oh,
you heard
tried
him.
to play it low and...
No, I don't know. I heard an uh-oh. So I don't know if you wanted to play it that low or not, but... Oh, boy, it went a little easier than I thought. 10.
Now John Plante as the guys lead off the middle game here. John Plante and Peggy Tosi with just 2 marks in that first game.
John will shoot at the 1-2-4 here. Piece of wood in behind the 1 and the 2. Shouldn't be involved in the shot, I don't believe.
Will it come back?
Missed the head pin, left the head pin.
And it's a 9.
Hey, John, come on.
John and Peggy really haven't been able to get started yet. Although John threw a strike his first ball of the day. John just turned away from that ball. It could have been a lot worse. He may have something to shoot at here. 1, 2, 6, and 10. Let's see. Nope, just a little too full on the head pin. I'm going to take a minute, Dan, while I think of it, to pass along a special hello to all of our very loyal and faithful viewers at the Hillsborough County Nursing Home in Goffstown. We appreciate all of you joining us every week, not only there, but wherever you might be joining us around New England. We appreciate your support here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes and on Candlepin Skins every Saturday. Saturdays and Sundays at noon here on the Winds of New England. Great bowling action every weekend. Carol Downey for the team of Ashline and Downey, who now lead by 38 pins.
All right, Carol.
Carol off the head pin, leaves a 4 horsemen left plus the 8. Couple pieces of wood that should help. It's got to be on the head pin though.
Carol waiting on the piece of wood behind the head pin. And the 10.
Put it back, Carol. Put it back. Come on.
4 horsemen this time.
This time 4 horsemen left again, this time minus the 8 pin, so. And no wood, she's got to do it all on her own this time. And again, off the head pin, leaves just the head pin standing.
And that'll be a 10 again for Carol. But she left the head pin for a 10 box both times that turn up. Here's Peggy Tosi. Again, Peggy and Carol tied for 4th place in the roll-off with that 632 score. Carol awarded the number 4 spot by virtue of her 161 highest game in the roll-off. Peggy's highest game was 142. It'll be a 7 for Peggy. You see a chance here for the Plante Tosi team to make up some ground, but they've been unable to do it so far. Well, Peggy's in the pocket that time, maybe a little high, and the split.
A little heavy on the head pin, 4, 7, 10. And that piece of wood is way out in front of the 4 and 7. Another piece of wood in back of it, but not an easy shot. No.
And Peggy will take 9, and we will take a break. Just about halfway through with Ashline and Downey in the lead here on Stars and Strikes. The team of Joe Ashline and Carol Downey with a 42-pin lead as we approach the halfway point of this first week in our annual mixed doubles competition. Boy, is it possible that Joe throws the ball harder than the last time we saw him?
I don't know. It's still pretty hard. I wouldn't want to be a pin sitting down there, that thing coming at me.
Wow. You could tell how hard that was just by the sound it makes.
But sometimes there's where the disadvantage is. You got to be on your target. If you're full on the target, you're going to get no break at all. It's going to drive the pin straight back. If you have to leave a pin standing, as you can see, spare 8, followed by the 4 10 boxes.
Another 9 drop for Joe. I think he's going to get a strike one of these times. A lot of wood out front here.
Yeah, this is an automatic, though.
That's why he elected to bypass the first piece of wood, figuring that might cause the problem. Well, that's one way to make it. Let's see what happened on the second ball.
Oh, flew it in front of the 8-pin. Well, hindsight, I think I just would have taken all of them. Get them all moving.
Well, John Plante with a big first ball. And he drops 9. As again, an opportunity for Plante and Tosi to make up some ground here. 2 open frames.
They got to start pretty quick, though. 42-pin deficit. Oh, boy.
That'll be a 9.
I didn't like that rack either, John.
3, 6, 4, 7. They have to make one of these, make one a difficult shot. Maybe that'll enough to get them going. No, not quite.
Make it a 9. So they lose 2 more pins in count. The lead now 44. Boy, Carroll threw a pretty good-looking ball there, and it was a very thin hit.
Probably try to pinch the 5-pin in the piece of wood at the same time and throw the 5-pin into the 10.
It's a spare.
Right there. Just jump that 5-pin into the 10.
Just a 2 fill, however. And just 6, so even with the mark, just 18 pins in the 2 boxes.
And the last stick with that ball. Come on, Peggy, get something started here.
Peggy's just been too full on the hit pin most of the day.
Been on it most of the day is right, and just got to change, move forward, back a little bit on the approach, left or right, something to change the angle of the ball coming in. Maybe she can start hitting the pocket instead of hitting it full. Oh, it's a great try there. Leaves the 7 and 8 pins, a piece of wood in between, but still no mark this game for Tosi and Plante.
Peggy takes the 10. Peggy Tosi lives in Kingston, New Hampshire. She works as a manager for 9X.
And again, in between. That time she almost crossed over to the 1-3 for the left-hander, but still kind of in between.
Let's see.
Oh, another great try.
Boy, she made 2 good attempts on those 2 tough shots that she was faced with, and nothing to show for it.
She's a fighter, though. She's just going to keep pinning away, and hopefully things turn around.
A couple of hard-working 10 boxes almost got the spare here.
It was high in the wood, prevented the 7, but if she was any lower, she probably wouldn't have carried the 10. So
Joe Ashline punching through the center. It's catching. No.
Okay, Joe, come on.
And he'll take a 9 box. Just 2 marks in this game, both for the team of Ashline and Downey, as you see.
Come on. Okay, go get it.
Thought that might be the strike ball.
this is a long drought without throwing a strike for Joe and Carol.
No.
Too thin on the 2-pin, left the 5. So kind of a subpar game for them, but fortunate for them, Plante and Tosi haven't made a run at him.
10 box.
And again, 2 open frames to face. He could almost cut it in half if he were to put 2 marks up.
105-228 for the team of Ashline and Downey. John Plante trying desperately to make something happen here.
I got a chance. 3, 5, 6, and 10.
No.
Boy. Both John and Peg coming close to those marks, but nothing to show for it.
It's now 13 boxes without a mark for the team.
Come on, John.
Back on the head pin again. Look out. The 2-pin. For a spare in the 10th. Breaking the drought. That, by the way, was the first 9-pin drop for the team of Plante and Tosi. They did have a strike earlier. It's been tough going. And a 9 drop right there. For 19 in the 10th and an even 100 game. 196 the 2-game total, so that cuts a little bit off that lead. 9 pins to be exact in the 10th frame. So the lead is 32 for Ashline and Downey. We'll be back with Game 3 on Stars and Strikes after this. John Plante will start for the team of Plante and Tosi here in Game 3. John, you see, from Manchester, New Hampshire. He's there with his wife, Valerie. John works as a collection manager for Capital Credit, and you might have heard John's disgust when he threw that ball, and look what happened.
I think he meant, oh no, not a strike.
Well, maybe this is what will get them go. You never know. It could be the littlest thing, and a ball thrown off target like that turns now into an easy spare. Maybe that's it. You never know.
Go back to that last game, spare 9 drop, and came right back with another 9 drop and a spare. So they've been right around that spare. They hit a few, didn't get them, so you never know. Catch fire here in this 3rd game.
Oh, look at this. That's 4 successive 9 drops now by John Plante. He threw 2 in a row in the 10th box to end Game 2, and now 2 in a row here in the 3rd game. And another spare. So, wow, let's see. Has John Plante found the cure here?
Well, Joe Ashline were to have 2 open frames here. Who knows?
Oh, look at the mix there for Joe as he winds up with just the 7-pin. Looked like it was going to be a pretty ugly split.
Doesn't look like it'd be any problem, but the wood is away from the 7-pin, so you never know. But
and still moving. Got it. That's mark number 7, all spares for the team of Ashline and Downey. Wow, I thought that wood was coming over maybe to clean everything out, and it went right in front of the 4 and the 5.
yeah, he's got a chance. Down low in the wood, take the 4-7, would take the 5.
Got it.
So he
Matches those 2 marks that John Plante put up.
loses 2 and count. 9 fill to the 7 fill, but Joe does his job by putting both marks up. Peg Tosi now filling a spare. And she's in a pocket and a strike.
Wow. Strike on spare. Second strike for the team.
That looks like no, that broke in full again. Good going down. A last minute broke sharp to the right.
Well, there's a perfect example. Those 2 balls that Peggy threw. What's been happening today? She's been all over the head pin. Oh, look at this! Oh my! Wow! Great 9 drop though on the strike, and a well-deserved round of applause here.
Well, she's been doing that all day. She's been right around those spares and just couldn't carry that extra pin. 10. That would have been a fantastic shot.
Take another look at it.
Just catches the 2-pin. Out go the 6-10. And a wood comes up against the 3, but not enough to knock it out of there. Now Carol Downey will fill the spare put up by Joe Ashline in the second.
With 5.
Well. This is all over with these first 4 boxes. We're going to have a match.
Indeed we are. The team of Plante and Tosi has already more than cut the lead in half. It's gone from 32 down to 14 now. Oh, Carol gets a nice break there.
A little bit behind yourself that time. Left the ball out to the right.
Oh, nice recovery, but no spare. Wow. And it's a 9-box. We will take a break. And hey, this thing is getting a lot closer. Just a 13-pin lead right now for the team of Ashline and Downey. We'll be back for the last 6 boxes here on Stars and Strikes. John Plante now, with his partner Peggy Tosi making a charge here in the 3rd game.
Well, just a matter of time because, as we keep saying, that they looked like they was hitting those spares, but weren't carrying them. That time John pulls it to the left of the half Worcester. Oh, good looking ball there.
Very unusual leave here left for the 3rd ball, the 4, 5, and 9.
Don't want to lose this momentum. It's very important that John puts a mark up here in the 6th frame for Peg to work with 2 reasons. Give the other team something to think about and keep the momentum going.
Right in the pocket, maybe a little bit high with it. The 4, 5, and 7 this time.
Yeah, 4, 5, and 7. You want the piece of wood out in front, and it is, again, in front of the 4, 7. You got to use that one, and it's not an easy shot. You need a lot of help off the sidewall.
Ooh, didn't take the 7. So 2 open frames could be crucial. $10 for John. We'll see what happened with that wood when it came off the wall. Snapped right over to the 4 and never touched the 7. And Joe is off target. Well, if Joe were to be open in both of these boxes, that would leave the lead much more manageable.
Well, just gained 2 more, 9 versus the 7, so the lead now is just 11 pins for Ashline and Downey.
Big box right here. And through the middle this time for the 1 and 5.
Hang on, boys and girls. Just going to have to scramble here to get out with a 9 or a 10, I would think.
Oh, wow. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, if that had fallen toward the corner, you might have made a spectacular shot. Just to get a 9 or 10, as you said, is work enough with that leave. Boy, that is just a great 10 box and very nearly a spectacular spare. Let's have a look.
See how close he came. Wow, he actually cut the 3 pin into the 2, it looked like.
So the lead stays at 11 going to the final rotation, the final 4 boxes.
Peggy gets back on that head pin too full like she was the first couple of games. 2, 4, 7, and the 6. Almost made a shot similar to this with that spread eagle.
And the winners of this match will be back next week to face Steve Plante, no relation by the way, and Joanne Vandiver. Peggy trying to direct the wood. The wood may determine her chances here on the 4, 7, 9, and 10.
Give it a ride.
She's got to play that wood out in front. That's looking right at her. Play the cap, and then she's got to hope and pray.
Wow, looked like she had it in a pretty good spot, but not much happening.
So after opening with spare, spare, strike, now they've gone 6 boxes or 5 boxes without a mark.
So Peggy Tosi wraps up her work, at least in regulation time. And now Carol Downey.
And John Plante's got to hope that Carol Downey does not put a mark up.
Carol lives in Nashua, New Hampshire. She has 3 children, Cheryl, JJ, and Noel, and 3 grandsons, Jamie, Andrew, and Corey. Carol works as a credit union manager. A 10 box for Carol. That adds a pin in count, increasing the lead to 12 now.
Come on, Carol.
Same situation as we were in 2 boxes ago. If Carol were to put a mark up here, it would make it pretty difficult. But it's not going to be an easy shot.
Well, she's got the 2, 4, and 6, but a piece of wood. Try to You got to catch the 2-pin. Inside or out, she's got a chance.
Yes! Big shot in the 8th for Carol Downey. Big spare right there.
Well, John Plante can only hope to put 2 marks up and fill them. He'd like a double strike, but at least 2 marks, and hope that Joe doesn't fill that spare.
Wow.
But without a couple marks, it would be just about over. Oh, yes.
Oh, how about it?
Oh, the wood stopped it.
Wow.
That was gone, and the piece of wood came across from the left and stopped the pin from falling.
Well, he pretty much had to have 2 marks. Let's get another look at that one.
What's the pin from the left? Right here.
Ooh.
Stopped it.
Either one of those pieces might have taken it by itself. No, look out.
You knew that was going to happen.
For the spare.
125 plus the bonus.
7th mark for the team. And 6 on the spare. 131 for Plante and Tosi, and a 3-game total of 327. So Ashline and Downey need just 99, actually 100 even, to make it official, and they're already at now 92 in the 8th. And that will do it. That spare clinches it for Joe Ashline. We will break away as Joe finishes the match, but Ashline and Downey have hung on to win it, and we'll be back to check the final scores and have our bonus ball contest in a minute. We are back on Stars and Strikes, and there you have a look at the final total. Ashline and Downey winning it 341 to 327 over John Plante and Peg Tosi. We're running tight on time, but we want to make sure we get to the bonus ball contest. Carol Downey will do the honors for the team of Ashline and Downey, and we'll see if we can get a match worth $90 here. And let's see. The number is 5, Mr. Murphy. And not a match, but close. Charles Hatch from Salem, New Hampshire. Charles's guess was 6, so he'll be receiving a consolation gift, and we will go up to $100 next week. Don't forget, Saturday at noon, Candlepin Skins. Next Sunday at noon, Dan and I will be back here for the 2nd week of our mixed doubles tournament. Until next weekend, for Dan Murphy and the whole crew here at the Winds of New England, I'm Doug Brown. Have a great week, everybody.